From Vancouver to Halifax, Flin Flon to Estevan, he's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. Coming to you live from the bunker here, right in the middle of the Bald Prairies. Episode number 23 of the program. Radio only, I understand, or I guess online audio only here at rodpedersen.com/listen live. So I got to tell you that I have shown up underdressed for another Wednesday on the program.
You got a fresh shirt on.
I do have a brand new shirt, and it looks like we're live on Facebook Live now. Can you let me know when we are, Clark, please? He says, keep talking, so that's fine.
That's the job.
Yeah, that is the job.
Paid by the word.
The RE Gold of the program over here, I guess I should come up with a new one. The Tonto.
You've used that one already.
I know. I got to come up with a new one. I've said Robin, Batman. What else is there?
There were some famous sidekicks.
The Sundance Kid I've used while you were gone.
Any one of the Spice Girls? No, maybe. I'm not sure.
Baby Spice.
Let's not go there.
DuPont's been running around in the studio saying, let's get on air. Let's get going with the audio. Until Facebook's working, so thanks for everybody.
I want to do the RE Gold with the paintball gun and go around just blitzing everybody.
Why don't you?
I might.
What was that show modeled after? Whose life? Was it like Marky Mark's life or something like that?
Mark Wahlberg, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
That was Entourage.
That was Entourage,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
He actually was an executive producer of the show.
Oh, wow, okay.
Sure. So we are in the warm-up. Paul Drouin is telling us Facebook is having issues. It's not us. Isn't that always the way? Does Anthony work with us? This guy already on the Facebook
does
page?
not, but he might work at Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know.
Apparently we're live on Facebook. Let's roll. It's the warm-up. And where do we start? For those that just joined us on Facebook, if we're live on Facebook, I'm underdressed, but that's okay because I do have a new golf shirt, and I want to say hi to the Newfoundland Growl. Can you see this? Is this coming out over the air?
Yeah, you can, actually.
They sent a note from Fitzy. Congrats on the new show from the 2019 Kelly Cup champs. The Newfoundland Growl from Fitzy.
What is that now? It looks like a big dog. It looks like a big St. Bernard.
I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it does.
But the champions of the East Coast Hockey League, and they sent me this golf shirt, and I love when the hockey people bestow us with gifts. On the show today, this Wednesday, God willing, obviously, Darren DuPont, Derek Myers in studio with me. Travis Lulay with a West Coast report on the 0-3 BC Lions. I've been doing a little thinking about that. I'm sure you guys have too, or maybe you haven't. I don't know, but I'll give my thoughts. But more importantly, I want Travis Lulay's thoughts on the team of which he works in the front office, the 0-3 BC Lions. Ricky Foley will be joining us from Toronto, three-time Grey Cup champion. And TSN's Dustin Nielsen should be with us here in hour one. Real quickly, through my notes of the warm-up. One, there's crazy talk that Cody Pichardo is going to give the ball back to Zach Collaros as soon as he's healthy and comes off the injured list. Stop it. Who's ever purporting that notion is silly. This is Cody Pichardo's team for as long as he's playing the way he is. And by the way, he's the CFL Player of the Week. Bo Levi Mitchell missing practice yesterday for the Stampeders. Looks like Fatty Arbuckle will start at quarterback for the Stampeders Saturday. Calgary, don't get upset that I'm calling him Fatty Arbuckle.
Here it is already.
Do you know who Fatty Arbuckle is?
No. It just doesn't sound very...
Fatty Arbuckle was a 1930s silent film star in the Charlie Chaplin era.
Okay.
Fatty Arbuckle. So he's not from Little Rascals. I Googled that this morning. That was Spanky, Buckwheat, and Alfalfa. The three guys there. But Fatty Arbuckle was a 1930s silent film star. So I'm not saying Nick Arbuckle, the quarterback for the Stampeders, is fat at all.
Just doesn't sound very complimentary.
And we're not very complimentary to the Stampeder quarterbacks.
No, you're not.
Over here.
You're not.
Should I stop with the Fatty Arbuckle? When I saw his name when he first signed with the Stampeders, that's the first thing I thought of. It's just me.
No, I
didn't know who he was.
Everybody, the vast majority is going to take it the way you and I did. That
it's
he's got a little junk in the trunk. And
I'm just not up on my 1930s silent film era movie stars.
And as you know, I was flying for most of that game. So maybe he looked a little tight in the spandex, and I couldn't tell. I didn't know.
He looked really good. leading them in the comeback victory, actually.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of junk in the trunk, Gainer the Gopher is still trending this morning across the country. New Gainer. Derek, you must have thoughts on the whole situation.
Yeah.
I'll let you chime in on those here in the warm-up.
I don't get it. Why do we try and humanize a mascot? He is a mascot. I did see, and I think you responded. I can't remember the person who put it on Twitter today, but just give him back the Gopher eyes, and it would probably be okay. It's the eyes that are creeping everybody out. I'm with you, Rod. My mascot shouldn't look like some guy just put on some pajamas and a jersey walking around out there. Like, I don't understand it. Mascots are supposed to be characters. That's why Gritty works. He's a character. He's this big thing. He's kind of a big oaf. When you try and humanize it, then just get out the leprechaun from Notre Dame, and get a guy like that. Like, why does he have to be wearing sneakers, and why does he have to be skinny? I liked him, as you put it, with a little bit of junk in the trunk. And the eyes are just doing it. Like, it is flat out creepy. And the fact that, I know I've been hard on Rider Nation in the past and the fans, but I love the fact that they are revolting, and there's petitions and like the online commentary during the game, especially when there was the break in the action because of the storm and people were bored and had nothing else to do. Like, some of the memes and some of the pictures that came out of that were so stinking hilarious. I was entertained for hours just going through that. I love that the Rider Nation has circled the wagon, so to speak, here to defend their lovable rodent.
Yeah, it's supposed to be larger than life, right?
Yeah,
like you said, it's not supposed to look like a guy just in a pair of pajamas. But
my kid has one of those pandas zip-up suits, you put on. It's like got the hood. That's what this looks like. It looks like you just trot my kid out there in his panda suit with a sign that says defense.
I think we brushed on it yesterday on the program, and I spent far too much time probably on Gainer yesterday. But the suit, they pay a lot of money for these things. You know that.
Well,
I don't know how much. I want to say between $50,000 and $100,000 probably.
Oh, wow.
That would be my guess.
Really?
I think it would be that much.
Then they got ripped off.
I don't care if you pay $5. It doesn't look very good.
No, it looks terrible.
Falling out. It looks like a home ec class did the suit. Tank Abbott, who's watching in Estevan. And are we live, Paul? Are we live on Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram are both down across California.
Like that makes sense.
The company. It's Zuckerberg's fault.
Facebook and Instagram are down. We had a day like that a few years ago. A few months ago.
It's
Remember
funny.
that?
You and I were sitting here trying to upload our Instagram post this morning, and it wasn't uploading. And we're both like, is your Instagram down? So it's a little bit of an issue. All right. So away we go.
Don't blame us.
But we are still live online. That's what I'm told.
Absolutely.
That's what Paul's telling me. So anyway, well, that's good. Nobody can see me fumbling around with this earpiece here right now.
But I don't think you spent too much time on it. That's what people are talking about. I mean, there's a couple of things that people are talking about. Unfortunately, they're not focused on the fact that the Riders got their first win. And as you said yesterday, don't care that it was the Argos and that they suck. You got to win the ones they put in front of you. And, for how long have we been talking about the quarterbacking situation? I mean, the guy's been lights out through 2 games. People should be pumped about this. But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the Gopher.
The Riders are excited, and they should be. Sent a congratulatory note to Craig Dickinson yesterday, and he seemed very enthusiastic, and he should be, with the play of his football team against the Toronto Argonauts. I'm with you. There's nothing the Riders need to apologize for beating the worst team in the CFL.
No.
And I don't think the Argos will be this bad for this long.
Oof.
Holy smokes, I hope they're not.
They're bad.
You know what?
And now their quarterback's probably out. Franklin's probably out this week with a hamstring.
He wasn't very good.
He wasn't great, but he's your starter, so you assume that it's... I mean, I guess you look at Saskatchewan, and the guy that was supposed to be second string is clearly going to be the first string guy now for quite a while. Maybe that's the case with Bethel, McLeod, Thompson, the third junior there. I don't know, but he didn't really impress when he came on in garbage time either. So,
well, what about this talk that Cody Pichardo is prepared to give the ball up when Zach Caleros comes off the injured list?
Poppycock. I mean, why? why would you even consider that? At this point in time, even if he has a bad half or maybe not a great game, he has definitely earned the right to be the guy under center for at least till Labor Day, in my opinion now. I mean, why would you even consider rushing back Zach Collaros? Again, Zach is very unproven in everybody's mind. I don't see what the benefit is to putting this guy back on the sideline with a clipboard or watching. I just don't get it. I think it's ludicrous to even talk about that. He's thrown for more yards in his first 2 starts than anybody in the CFL, save Jeff Garcia, who, if memory serves, was a pretty good quarterback.
Well, it's funny because Marshall Hamilton sat in that chair yesterday and said, oh, well, the Riders have a chance. Calgary's playing their backup on Saturday. I'm like, so are the Riders.
Yeah.
He just happened to be shooting the lights out.
Everybody was a backup sometime.
Right, but let's just not think that the Stamps are going to lay down because it's their backup, because let's remember it's the Riders' backup to the guy that they wanted going into training camp.
When's the last time that the Stampeders had a backup enter a game and significantly dropped off the face of the earth?
No.
I don't remember.
Didn't they go from like Flutie to Garcia to...
Even when they had Drew Tate as a backup, they were able to still keep up some level of consistency with their game. Their
succession plan, they've been able to do it about as good as anybody when it comes to rolling quarterbacks over the years. I mean, Henry Burris. I mean, it just seems like it was a nonstop. They always had a guy, and that's why they've been a successful franchise for a number of years. You know, right at the top of one of the more winningest franchises over the years is part and parcel. You got to have a good quarterback in this league, and certainly they always seem to be able to do it. And again, as Fatty Arbuckle. I mean, we didn't even realize we were watching the game together the other day, kind of casually, and all of a sudden, that's not even Bo Levi Mitchell.
Telling the guys that. I didn't even realize it.
I mean, but they're just driving down the field, and you could feel it. You could just feel it in the room and the stadium. They were going to come back.
It looked like Bo.
There was zero drop-off. Zero. Yeah.
Moving on in the warm-up, the Wednesday poll for Capital, Auto Mall, and Universal Collision is, which is Canada's game of the week? We've got 353 votes cast already this morning. The options are Hamilton at Montreal, Winnipeg at Ottawa, BC at Toronto, Calgary at Saskatchewan. We have a runaway winner of Canada's game of the week. Any guesses to what it is?
I voted on the poll.
Did you?
Yeah, I have some inside information on that.
Say it. Tell the folks.
Well, it's obviously Calgary at Saskatchewan. I think it was
has to be.
It was over 85% when I
83% right now.
So there you go. Yeah, that's pretty high.
I guess that kind of takes all the surprise out of it. These aren't just Rider fans voting. A, you got Calgary fans, I would think, voting, and B, there's a few people in Winnipeg, I would think, that are in on this poll. 15% are saying it's the Winnipeg at Ottawa game. That's 2 unbeaten teams, guys. That's 2 2-0 teams. Why do you think that they're not even getting more consideration for game of the week? Canada's game of the week. You would think 2 unbeaten teams, the clash of 2 big Rams on the top of the mountain.
I mean, it just goes to show that the West is still king when it comes to the CFL. When it comes to fans, when it comes to viewership, it's without question. I think you get 2 of the powerhouse premier franchises going, combined right now with a losing record. They're 2 and 3 combined, Calgary and Saskatchewan, but it doesn't matter. These are 2 teams that, quite honestly, you could see being in a West final this year too, I think.
It's a little early for that.
But I could think you could see it.
Well, that's another point that I have here. I'm glad you brought that up. Are the Riders Grey Cup contenders?
Wow. In a 9-team league, when you got Montreal and Toronto, that whittles you down to 7. I think everybody's a Grey Cup contender.
That's an off-season answer. Everybody is. It's March. No, right now, given what we've seen with BC, Toronto, and Montreal, all a combined 0-7 combined. Are these Riders with Cody Pichardo a Grey Cup threat? Dupes, you've been quiet for a while.
I know.
While Derek thinks, you chime in.
Well, and I've been thinking about this too. Of course, that's where we go. One win, and now we're Grey Cup
sure.
contenders,
Punt
right?
parade.
And across the country, everyone's going to say, "Oh, sure." Now in Saskatchewan, they think they're Grey Cup contenders. Well, I mean, Cody Pichardo's been very impressive. What is he? Almost 800 yards through 2 games. It's been unbelievable. I mean, if he plays like that, yes, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the CFL. The way he's played through 2 weeks. Now, you got to prove it over a course of a season or 2 or 3 before I'll consider you a top quarterback in the league. But he's playing well. We've got a great running game. When the line is playing well, they're as good as anybody. And we know what the defense can do. And we're still playing without Solomon Elamimian and Manny Arsenault, too, who we hope will be key contributors to this group. Yeah, they got a shot. For sure they do. A lot of it will depend on how healthy Bo Levi is and the results of that MRI.
That is a bit of a factor. I mean, quite honestly, I think they have as good a chance as anybody. Is Cody Fajardo going to throw for 350 every game? Probably not. You know, he's going to have some downtime. But I think what you've seen out of this team, the games they lost, keep in mind, 1-possession games. I mean, they weren't blown out in those games by any stretch of the imagination. They were right in there. I'm seeing receivers making plays. Guys going up, guys getting the ball. Naaman Roosevelt, guys diving for the pylon. You know, I'm seeing what you want to see out of a team early in the season. They're buying in. They're trying to make the plays. There's no let up out there. That to me is big. William Powell, are you kidding me? I mean, they give him the ball there to start grinding out the clock. Guy is, as advertised, a stud. Thigpen, I don't think hardly got any action the other night.
Did get some
later on.
In our highlights I did on In the Huddle last night.
But not as much as we've seen him in the past. That's an indication of depth. That's to me is key. The offensive line, I think, has looked really quite good. So there's all those key components that you go, yeah, you know, we're 3 games in, but this is a team that certainly looks to have improved in certain areas that they needed to. They haven't gone backwards. So do I think they're going to go 12-6? Maybe not, but you just got to get into the tournament. That's the key. And right now, sure, I put them in the mix with other teams.
Long ways to go. You're right. Right now, trending well. Clark telling us that warm-up coming to an end as of now. These ringing the buzzer. Can we get a buzzer sound effect for the end of warm-up?
Yeah, we do.
Or a siren?
Just like the clock ticking down.
Get off the ice, you damn kids!
I hated that one.
We all did.
Did you ever play when you could only have 2-minute shifts and 2 minutes?
No, I'm older than that.
Oh no, I skated around for 2.5 minutes.
No, they would ring the buzzer. That was it. The play would stop and you had to get off. It was like a mandatory caution in NASCAR. I hated it. You'd be on a breakaway. 2 minutes were up. Bam.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.